Hi, Rolando. Nice to see you back at work. Let's take a look at what you've done here. The advantages versus the disadvantages of online communication being more common than face-to-face meetings. Let's see what you wrote here. Experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated whether the web-based communications that are widely used nowadays are more beneficial to be adopted in work environments, as here, than are more beneficial than, get rid of rather, in-person meetings. This essay will discuss in detail, without the ed, in detail the benefits and drawbacks of it, using examples from a survey conducted by prominent universities to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, yeah, you're going to discuss benefits and drawbacks, but you didn't answer the question. You have to answer, do the benefits outweigh the disadvantages? So it's not enough to just tell us that you're going to discuss them both. You actually have to tell us which one is stronger. So don't forget that. This is one of the important elements that you need to kind of deal with in order to be considered for Band 7 in task achievement. It's one of the things. You have to have a clear position throughout your response, throughout meaning from the beginning to the end. Okay? So let's keep going. There is ample evidence that online communications, get rid of the, have brought a lot of benefits for most companies to save and keep the business operations running during this difficult global pandemic. Full stop. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, the government in one's country, I don't know what's going on with your grammar here, Rolando. Firstly, mostly governments in one's country are implementing a strict rule and protocols. All right, I see a lot of problems with your plurals and your singulars, so I want to do this again, one more time. Firstly, governments in one's country, I don't even think you need one. It sounds awkward. So you should have just said governments, plural, are implementing strict rules and protocols in every company to limit the number of employees allowed to work in the office to minimize overcrowding. You see, it's a very simple fix. Excuse me. Secondly, cautious isolation will protect. That's not a collocation in English. We don't say cautious isolation. We say social distancing, actually. So secondly, social distancing will protect the welfare of the employees and their families from the continuously growing number of infections. For example, a recent survey conducted by Oxford University demonstrated that 90% of employees agreed that they became more productive at work. I don't know what this means. In work at home setup. We don't say that. You have to say something different. They have become more productive at work with a home setup. I don't really know. As they appreciate and value their company leaders for ensuring the safety first during these difficult times. It must not be forgotten that although online meetings are very convenient to use as a form of communication, there are still some challenges and limitations that will impact the clarity and quality of the meeting's outcome, like network and internet signal used. All right, this doesn't help you. You really need to get rid of this. It's something totally different from what you've been saying. So you don't want to introduce this like opposite element here. That's inappropriate. And then it's kind of confusing. And why are you ending the paragraph with something kind of stating against what you've been talking about so far? So I absolutely would have left that sentence out. Now check this out. I feel kind of like you haven't really answered the question. What are the benefits of online meetings? What are the advantages of them compared to any, and then, let me try it again. We're moving towards online meetings, okay? All of us. That's the given here. We're moving towards them. Instead of face-to-face meetings, we're moving to online communication in general. So, do the advantages of moving towards this type of communication outweigh the disadvantages of this move. So I kind of feel like in this paragraph, you didn't really talk about the advantages. You were talking more about why this is happening. That's kind of what this felt like to me. So you said that they were implementing strict rules. So first of all, hold on. It brought a lot of benefits, keep the businesses running. Okay, great. And then you start telling us about why. So this whole thing is about why they're doing this. But that's not what we're interested in. We are actually interested in the advantages to this type of communication. So what are they? Well, it means that you can keep in touch with your office anywhere, anytime, no matter where you are, what you're doing. Okay? So this type of constant availability. Another benefit is that you don't have to spend time or money traveling to have meetings in person and conference rooms and scheduling, et cetera, rooms and conference rooms and what have you. So these are some of the benefits that online communication offers, because with online communication, all you have to do is say, all right, we'll meet over this particular platform at this time. See you there. And for many businesses, this is actually free of charge. So you could have talked about those. Now, those are advantages. All right. Um, those are what we consider advantages to online communication. But what you really talked about here is not an advantage. You were mostly talking about the reasons. Okay. At least here you did. Let's see. And then what did you talk about here? You said social distancing protects the welfare of employees. Okay. But then that doesn't connect to this, because here you're telling us that they become more productive at work. And that doesn't really support what you were saying before. This is relevant. This here, that they're very thankful. Maybe they're more productive at work because they feel safe and thank their employers. I mean, maybe that would be okay. But still, I felt like this was kind of shakily organized. Like you didn't really have your head kind of wrapped around what they were asking you to talk about. And so you were talking about something related, yet not completely on topic. Okay, let's move on because you spent a lot of time on that. Okay, what happened here? I don't know why this is showing up as like a different paragraph. It shouldn't be. And I don't understand this actually. Why do you have these as two different paragraphs? Therefore, it is conclusively clear that employees can adapt with an A, well, to an online work setup, and will be more effective if the tools and technology used are working well to avoid interruptions. Okay, fine. I didn't really understand why you did your paragraph in the way you did. This should have been just really essentially attached to this previous paragraph, so I don't really understand that. Although there is a case for some senior employees being IT illiterate and having challenges operating communication tools that add extra stress on them, this is considered a minor disadvantage, as what matters most is the well-being of everyone in this difficult time of the global pandemic. That's not a full paragraph. That's one sentence. And the idea is that in this next paragraph, you were supposed to talk about the disadvantages of online communication. Okay. You mentioned just one thing, but that's really not enough. You need to go into more detail. You could have talked about how work relationships are not forged this way when you only meet online, that you need to have face-to-face conversations. You need to, sit over the cooler or like the coffee maker, as it were, and like chat with your colleagues. So online meetings really don't allow this type of bonding to happen in a workplace. So these are some of the things you could have talked about as a disadvantage. There were other things, of course, as well. You mentioned connectivity. That's certainly one. I thought you did, at least somewhere. So connectivity is one of the problems of that. The problems with maybe some people not being IT literate, also that's something. but you needed to address those a little more fully in detail. Okay, so, and one thing you should have realized is that this paragraph is a lot smaller. It's like half the length of your conclusion. And so that should be in and of itself assigned to you. You have not developed the body paragraph enough. So, to conclude from the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that although face-to-face meetings are still the ideal way of communication, the benefits everyone gets from using information technology online platforms for work communications is much more practical nowadays. The convenience is felt on a daily basis, therefore its impact and value is considerably greater. It is predicted that the role of online communication will increase in role importance. All right, all of that is okay. It's fine. All right, so I want to move on to your letter about the job. You work there part-time, but you want to work full-time. Fine. Dear Mr. Concepcion, I am writing in response to the advert for the full-time position that was recently posted by the HR department last week. I want to let you know that I'm very keen to apply for this new career opportunity to become a permanent employee of this wonderful company. Fine. It's semi-formal. It's not so formal, but that's okay because you know the person. He's your manager, and so it's okay to talk in this kind of semi-formal fashion. For almost half a year that I am doing my part-time job here, I could say that I gained a lot of knowledge that helped me grow more as a person. I do want to clean this up. I want to make it grammatically more accurate and sound better overall. You could have said something like, in the 6 months that I have been working here part-time, I could say that I have gained a lot of knowledge, which has helped me grow more as a person. All right, that would have been a good way to say it. Although being production software engineer is a very challenging position due to the demanding daily quota of customer orders that needs to be met in a short span of time. Comma here. I enjoy every challenge, singular, and experience, as I believe this is a good career prospect for me. Okay, so again, you had some grammar problems, some punctuation problems, so you really need to be more careful with that. I also want to make sure, I just want to remind you what the bullets are. You do have to answer the bullets completely and as fully as possible. So these are what you were supposed to talk about. Let's get to the end of your letter. Oh, there's more. There's a lot more. Okay. So let's get to the rest of this and see how well you actually covered the bullets. I do hope once I've gained in-depth, that's what you want, in-depth skills and knowledge in my current work area, I could widen my scope of responsibilities to cover end-to-end business processes, yes, of our company supply chain that will help me oversee the whole picture. All right, that's a really long sentence. You want to be careful with that. Look at it. It went up to the 4th line too long, okay? This is because having knowledge of different aspects of the business process flow will be very helpful for me to understand, appreciate, and develop and propose a better solution. Okay. I believe that I could be a great asset in the company, great asset to the company, as I have a lot more Kaizen, I don't know about that, improvements to implement that will be beneficial to the company. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And then you ended it, yours faithfully, which is definitely not it was just definitely not correct. Since you know the name of the person you're writing to, you said it here, it should be yours sincerely. Yours faithfully is what we use only when we don't know the name of the person we're writing to. So, why do you want to apply? You said that you've gained a lot of knowledge. Okay, here you just said, I don't really know why you want to apply, honestly. Yeah, you think you can be a great asset. Here's what's needed here. When they say, why do you want to apply? you want to say something like, I'm finishing my studies. And so, since I know the operations of the business, this would be the perfect full time job for me upon graduation. So, that would make sense that you're suddenly graduating university and you would like a full time job. So, that would be a reason why you would apply. Or perhaps that this is exactly the role that you were looking for. You took the part time job to kind of get your foot in the door, but now you really would like a more stable, um, kind of more advanced position in the company. So those are reasons why you would apply. I didn't really. Keen to apply for this new career opportunity. Yeah, you didn't really tell us why. Um, Yeah, it's a good career prospect, but again, you don't really get into any detail why. So I don't really feel like you got into this. You kind of got into this, okay. Um, and then you kind of mentioned why it would be beneficial. Let's see. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I thought you could have gotten into a little more detail about that. So, I mean, I kind of felt like you were writing this very stream of consciousness, like how would you apply for a job, but you didn't really, really, really focus on these bullets. So I wanted more of this, and I certainly wanted more of this too. So those are some of the things that I want to talk to you about. So it's okay, but I want you to clean some of this stuff up and just take it to the next level. I know you can because I think it's pretty simple fixes. All right, it's not something that you have to make a huge change to, but it's a number of things, and I want you to work on correcting them. Okay, so go ahead, and we'll meet back here with your next set of essays. Looking forward to it. Good luck.